Are you even booking half-day stays?
Are you even hosting?
We are going to share with you the exact automated message that we send to our guests that has increased our monthly revenue by 25%, and you can send this message too.
Hi, I'm Sarah Karakayan.
And I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting.
We've been hosting for well over a decade, welcomed tens of thousands of guests, and earned thousands of 5-star reviews.
Our portfolio continues to bring in over 1.5 million year over year, and supported not only by the industry's leading brands, but also some of the biggest media outlets.
And we're here to help you with your furnished rental.
What is a gap night? The amazing thing with a gap night is you are adding value to someone who has already decided to book with you. So they've already gone through the process of selecting you amongst everyone else. And so a gap night is if you have a vacant night, either before they arrive or after they're set to depart, you offer them that night at a discount so that you can sell it to someone who's already coming. They've already paid the cleaning fee. That is a gap night, and when you maximize this strategy, you make money where else you would have just sat vacant.
We're going to go through the 4 pillars now for your gap night success.
Pillar number 1, know your numbers. You must know what your cost per reservation is. This is the number that you're going to pay yourself in terms of expenses, no matter if someone stays in your place or not, right? So no matter what, you got to pay your mortgage, your insurance, probably a little bit of electric. You get what I'm saying here. Gap nights is meant to recoup funds that you would have lost if the property sat vacant that night. So you've got to restructure your mindset around revenue management when you're pricing out your gap nights. It's not meant to maximize revenue for that night. It's meant to know how much you can charge where you can still make a little bit of money and you're not flat and you're not losing money. So this is going to be a discount for your guest, and it's going to make you a little bit money, but it's going to recoup what you would have lost if it would have just sat vacant.
In order to know your numbers, you need to know that cost per reservation. If you need to figure that out, we have a download below for you. Pillar number 2 is understanding your booking window. Now, you don't want to offer this gap night too soon. That's why it's important for you to understand your booking window. And that booking window is the time that guests normally book their stay with you ahead of time. So some markets, it may be 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance. Other markets, like here, it might be 2 weeks in advance, a couple days in advance. So it's really imperative that you understand your booking window so you know when you should offer that gap night to your guest.
Okay, so here in Columbus right now, and that's another key point too, your booking window, don't be alarmed, can change season to season. I'm not talking about winter, fall, spring, summer. Your seasons could be every 6 months. It could be every 2 months. It could be 2 months and then 2 months, then 2 months the same. And all of a sudden, those next 4 months, your booking window is tighter. So just be prepared for that and mark these things down. We use Price Labs to find out what our booking window is. And if you want to check out Price Labs, check out the link in our show notes below. The information that you can get from Price Labs is incredible. But if you're not ready to take that step and you want to just use the metrics inside Airbnb, if you go inside your Airbnb account, go to Insights, and then you're going to scroll down and look for the conversion section in Airbnb. It's called Booking Lead Time. It will tell you how many days your booking lead time or booking window, same thing, is in that moment. So right now, we're at 16.2 days for our booking lead time. So I wouldn't want to send that message to that guest offering a discounted night for a vacant night before that 16 days is up, right? After 16 days has passed, then I can go ahead and feel comfortable and confident selling those vacant nights so I can recoup what I probably would have just lost anyway.
Pillar 3, how to price your gap night. How do you know what this discount should be? Please keep in mind, this is market specific, this is property specific. You know your business best, okay? So just listen to these tips, but you might not even have to offer a discount at all. Listen, there are several nuances here, so you may not have to quote unquote discount the price. Let's explain a little bit more why.
Well, so oftentimes, again, it's market specific, but most often the closer you get to arrival, the better pricing will be for short-term rentals, right? Because if you're outside your booking window, it's unlikely someone's going to book it. So your pricing is probably already automatically adjusting if you're using dynamic pricing, and it's probably already tweaking itself and lowering itself the closer to that arrival date. So your guest might be paying what you would have charged anyway for that day. They think they're getting a discount, although it's appropriate pricing for that night no matter what. So know that too. And then also, as you make your offers, you're a salesperson now, and when you're selling that gap night to that guest coming in, track yourself. Offer them the discount that you want to offer, or maybe you start with what it's already priced at right now anyway. They think it's a discount. To you, you know it's not. And if you get yeses 45 to 75% of the time, you're probably about right. But what happens if they're at 75% yes?
Yeah, if you're 75% yes, then you want to start, pushing that rate higher. You're getting a lot of people saying yes, so why not go ahead and raise your pricing?
We'll explain that. But saying yes is a good thing, right?
Absolutely, but most likely you're leaving money on the table. If everybody's saying yes, this is an opportunity in every business to raise your pricing. You're giving them, quote unquote, an offer. They can't, that's too good for them to refuse. So test it for a while, see how you can push the rate, and if people stop taking you up on it, of course you can bring it back down. That's the beauty about dynamic pricing. I really want to impress upon you what Sarah just said about making offers. That was plural, okay? You need to make offers maybe, twice to that same gap night stay. Let's say you offer it. We offered it at 14 days out. They weren't interested. Well, the closer the trip gets and the more focused they are on their vacation, they might think, oh yeah, I really want that. Or when they're actually staying in their home, if they're texting you, I'm having an awesome time, this place is great, say, oh, don't forget, we still have that day available if you'd like to extend your stay. So don't just make that offer once and think that it's, a no is no forever. You want to reiterate, if you still have those days available, ask them again, make that offer again to them. We have a lot of people that will say, I'm making these offers, and it's like, well, how many times? And just don't do it for one guest. You've got to do it over and over again to each guest if you have those potential gap nights. And that's why we're going to share that automated message with you.
And feel free, you don't have to resend the same automated message again and feel like you're being icky, right? Be real with your language and you could say something like, hey, that night is actually still available. If you've changed your mind, you're interested at all, just let us know. Happy to have that conversation. There are times, Annette, where I feel like, yes, automated messages are great, but there are times when just being a human and being a salesperson, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean that in a great way, and we'll talk about this later, this is also how you package it and how you market it, depending on who your guest avatar is, that you might suggest something they didn't know they needed, right? Like maybe you cater to family stays, and if you package it like, hey, if you were wanting to arrive a day early or super early in that day so you guys can get settled, that day is still available, you can be manual about it. It can come from your heart, and it can come from truly wanting to serve them and let them know that that night is available and you'd be happy to strike a deal with them. But we want to know in the comments below if this interests you, or if you're already doing gap nights, how many times are you making offers to your guests? Or if you're excited to start this in your business, how do you think you'll handle offering gap nights to your guests?
The other reason to offer this towards the end of the stay, I don't know how many of you are just like me when you're planning the vacation, you're planning the trip, you're really focused on your budget, you've got your start time, your end time, when your flights leave, you're very focused, but then once you get there, you're enjoying yourself, maybe your travel plans, their flights change, and you want to check out late or stay another day. That end of the stay is where I think you have a lot of opportunity also. So don't just forget on the beginning of the stay, that after, especially when they're there and having a good time, and maybe things have changed even while they were enjoying themselves at the home. So that's a great time to offer it.
Pillar number 4, mindset. I don't want you to get lost in the sauce here with this strategy for your revenue management. Don't overcomplicate this, okay? It is an art and a science. So truly all you have to do is see if there is a night available before your guests arrive. You're not offering it too soon, and making $1 is better than making $0 if it was gonna sit empty anyway. So also don't get greedy with this, okay? The more you do it and the more you track when you do it, the more success you're gonna have, the more money you can make. But at first, just make offers and see what happens.
Keep it simple.
TFB Pro Tip.
the naming of this offer. You know, behind the scenes, people call it gap night, orphan night. We're not gonna do that. That is not terminology that's gonna be front facing. You can market it as a half-day stay. Now that is interesting, okay? Because sometimes you might have guests that are like, oh, well, their flight is coming in early, okay? And to book a whole night seems, you know,
Psychologically.
extravagant or too much for them. So they're like, well, they don't need the whole night. So you can actually market it as a half-day stay. We actually have a coach inside our mastermind, Wendy. You can find her at Mostess Host. Check her out. She was having trouble doing the whole night before, but she's in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. And so many people from the East Coast coming to that area. They're always on that first flight in the morning. You know, they all get in at 9 a.m. They're so excited. They want to get to the house. They want to get to the pool. But they weren't booking the whole night before, but she started to call them half-day stays. And they were like, oh, because people are like wanting to check in early, this, that, and the other. She's like, can't allow that, but I can offer you a half-day stay. And that way they can come from the airport, go straight, check in, start enjoying their time. But that half-day stay could be the same price as that overnight stay, but it really is the way that you market it to your guests.
Let me explain this to you, because when Wendy shared this like repackaging with me, I was
there is some confusion. You're right, because people are like, I'm not only staying just half a day.
I was just very confused that, okay, she can't call it an early check-in because then she would price it as such that someone was checking out the night before, or that, you know, the night before, and then they'd have to hurry up and get it ready so that these people can check in. And Wendy's houses are quite large. Mm-hmm. So truly, like, she's not going to sell that night before. This is a gap night. This is a vacant night. This is an orphan night. She is just calling it a half-day stay because psychologically, and sales is all psychological, okay? So she's calling it that so that her business is whole. She does not have to sell that night before because she is making her cost per reservation, which she needs to make anyway to be whole for that night, that probably wouldn't have sold outside of her booking window. And the people booking it feel whole because they're not buying more than they need, so they think. Does that make sense? Once I like said it to myself that way, I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And it's all about being creative with your business.
Yeah, and half-day stays, it's not like this is something that you offer that people can come and stay at your house from, 11 to 2 or 11 to 4.
No.
It's for someone that's already coming for, their reservation, and they're adding that on. The automated message you've been waiting for.
Hi, Kelsey. Sarah here. Your upcoming Columbus Day is only a few days away. We're looking forward to your arrival so much, we'd like to offer you to come in a day early at a discounted rate. Message me back to take advantage of this deal while it's still available. Send. So Annette didn't want to be Kelsey. She didn't want to role play with me. But what usually happens is, and I mean this, like, right, we're around that 45 to 70%. We don't want to be at 75% yet.
I know what they do. They go, oh my gosh, you guys, our Airbnb host just texted us. We can get in early. Do you want to check in early? Let's go.
Yes, they always ask me what that discount is. They're like, well, maybe what's the discount? And then when I tell them, they have to think about it because, again, you don't want it to be so good that it's like a free night sounds great, So we tell them what the rate would be, and then 45 to 70% of the time they say yes, which is very exciting because it does add at least 25% to our revenue on a night that would have just been vacant anyway. Also, I know I was manually texting Kelsey or Annette here. Here's the deal. There isn't a way, as of right now, to automate this if you're only using Airbnb. But honestly, if you're only using Airbnb, it's probably because you have one property and you're not quite yet building out a tech stack with apps that you have to pay for, which is totally fine. So you'll have to manually do this, but I think that's fine. Let's say, make a habit of it. Every day in the morning when you're drinking your coffee, look at your calendar, and if you're within your booking window for any stays that have a night before your guest arrives and it's open, you can save a template inside of Airbnb with this message. It can automatically have the guest's name populate in the little template spot, and you can send this to your guests. It can be very fast. I mean, adding that much money off of one message you just press send to a guest while you're drinking your coffee is so good. Now, for all of you out there that might be using there are apps out there where you can automate this message. We use Breezeway messaging to automate this message. So Breezeway can tap into our booking calendar and it will automatically know, we set up rules. It'll automatically know, hey, Sarah's within, past her booking window. This night is empty. Let me send this automated message to this guest. It'll call the guest by name. It won't offer a rate. It'll just say, let me know if you're interested, so we can then engage in real time, like actual human to human engagement with, I'm not opposed to it. I actually like doing that and connecting with our guests. So that's how you can do it and make more money in your business without having to do anything else.
All right, we know you are excited. You're like, let's make that shmoney, honey. But it's like, but wait, how do I actually get the funds for that gap night or half day stay?
Yeah, whether you're using Airbnb or property management software, if you're using Airbnb, you go into the reservation and you have to change their arrival date. When you do that, it'll kind of do the math for you. You can change that math since you're giving potentially either a discount, or maybe it's not a discount, it's what you would have charged a new booker for that night. And you send that offer to your guest. They have to accept it, and it's all done before they arrive. PMS, pretty much the same thing. You just change the date that your guest is gonna arrive, make sure the pricing all looks good, send it their way to approve it. Okay, don't do this though. And I'm saying this because we've done it and it's really painful. We're really good at going into our calendar and blocking off holidays, depending. So if we want to make sure all of our guests are in-house for Thanksgiving, like that Thanksgiving day, or make sure they're already in-house on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Again, it's your business. You can do what you want to do. You could not have any guests in during the bigger holidays here in the States or wherever you're from. And if you choose to do that, make sure you don't offer a guest a gap night or a vacancy night that you meant to be vacant. So maybe it's not even around a holiday. Maybe you're going on vacation and you don't want anyone in your property. Again, you're the business owner. You get to make these calls. I just want to remind you to be cognizant, especially if you automate this message, to make sure it doesn't go out when it's not supposed to. Don't offer days that you don't want to offer up.
While you're focusing on knowing your numbers right now, make sure to check out this video.
You want to make more money just by hacking your calendar like we do here with Gap Nights? Check out our video about how to make more money with these 5 calendar hacks.
No more empty nights for you. Do this work today. Start selling those gap nights. Make sure you let us know below when you get your first booking from it. We are so excited for you. But before you sell your first gap night, make sure to hit that subscribe button.
While you're watching all these videos, you're getting your education on, go watch those calendar hacks, go watch those pricing mistakes. And with that, I am Sarah Caracan.
I'm Annette Grant, and together we are
Thanks for visiting. Talk to you next time.